What is up, guys? Sumi with ThoughtCast here, and today I'm going to talk about why healthy marriages are boring. A lot of you might be like, oh my God, but Sumi, I got married to have fun. Isn't life supposed to be amazing when you get married and everything's supposed to be just wonderful and spontaneous? No, it's not. I'm not here to say that marriage is not great. Marriage, when it's done right, can be absolutely amazing, but it's boring. And this is what people really miss. I hear so many women talk about their divorces, and I'm like, why did you divorce this guy? And they're like, well, he was boring. I just wasn't happy. I just wasn't satisfied. I just wasn't this. And their man was taking care of them, providing, protecting, securing, showing up every day, doing what he needed to do. But for some reason, that woman was just not satisfied. I'm going to tell you right now, that was an immature move on your part. And a lot of those women regret leaving that man because they go out in the open world and they go back out in the field and they find out that they can't get better because their ability to negotiate in the sexual marketplace is not as high as it used to be. And now they're out here bargaining and trying to compete with younger women who are just a lot more there sexually. Just keeping it real. Men look sexually first. And a lot of women throw away a good relationship, a good marriage, a good relationship because it was boring. Boring is not bad. Boring means that there's nothing crazy going on. Sometimes it's good to be in a relationship if it's boring. Look, this is something I learned over the years of my life where I used to chase women that were volatile. I used to chase relationships that had highs and lows, and I felt like those relationships really fulfilled me in a sense because I was always engaged. I was always stimulated. But in the chaotic world we live in, we look for stimulation everywhere we go, even in our own relationships, and that's why it's wrong. You can't look for stimulation, excitement, and volatility in your relationships. You should look for happiness, calmness, peace, relaxation, sometimes being a little bored. Because a relationship is a reprieve from the chaotic world that we're in. A relationship is a break. And if you don't have any chaos going on in your world, no volatility, no stimulation, look, you're in a peaceful state. You can pick up a hobby. You can do something to entertain yourself. You should never date someone to be interested or stimulated by them. You got to be able to be happy by yourself and be stimulated by yourself. My life is electric. I don't need to be stimulated by anybody else because my life is lit how it is. But a lot of you date people because you want to be entertained. You want it to be fun. You need satisfaction from the relationship. You can't find it in your own life. That means that you're the boring person. If you left the relationship because you're bored, that means that you were boring because you can't keep yourself entertained, because you can't keep yourself occupied, because you can't keep yourself stimulated. You relied on your partner to find the happiness for you, and that's the biggest problem right there. Real, happy, healthy relationships are not necessarily a lot of fun. They're boring. You know, so many women talk about how a guy has to be amazing and charming and all these things, and they go for guys like this. And you gotta understand, in the feminine energy, you look and you serve two masters. One is genetic heritability. Is he tall, attractive, sexy, smells good, chokes you, slaps you, spits you? Like, these things are what women look for. On the flip side, you're looking for peace and stability. Is he calm, empathetic, nice, nurturing? And you always serve these two masters. It's not that you ever don't serve these two masters. Women will always serve these two masters. But over a period of time, there is a shift that typically happens, especially when a woman turns 30 or 35. She starts looking for peace and stability. A 35-year-old woman has a lot of different dating criteria than an 18-year-old girl. She looks for a man to be financially there, calm, empathetic, emotionally understanding, respectful, wants commitment, wants kids, so on and so forth. Where an 18-year-old girl just wants a guy to look good, be clouded up, to have power, to have game and status, but not necessarily authority. She just wants a guy that's cool. As a woman, you have to understand, for the preservation of your offspring, for the preservation of you and your life, you have to have a good balance of these things. It's not that you just have to have stability and peace. I'm not here to tell you to throw away your emotional attachments or your emotional attraction to a certain type of guy, but you have to balance this. You have to understand that every man has his flaws. Every man is not perfect. And on the flip side, guys, I'm telling you straight up that you are also like this in a way too. Men, we lead for the sexual, but we stay for the emotional compatibility. And a lot of guys will keep going back to the sexual. They'll keep trying to negotiate with other women out there and look at the other women in the marketplace and say, I could go get that. I could go hit this. Because as a guy, we want to conquer. We want to talk to more women. That's what every guy wants. If your guy is not horny for other women in his deepest, darkest roots, I'm telling you there's something wrong with him, or he's completely blinded in the honeymoon phase. A normal guy will want to engage with other women, but he doesn't do it out of the discipline, out of the respect, out of the commitment, out of the love, and out of him staying away from that temptation. Any guy that tells you that he does not think and look at other women while he's in a relationship is a complete liar. I'm keeping it true with you. But He can be honest about how he stays disciplined. But what you judge him on is not that he's doing this, but his ability to stay loyal in the relationship. Now, as a guy, you got to understand that you're always going to be in temptation. So I don't condone men that go to clubs or go to bars and this kind of stuff because they're putting themselves in a situation to engage in that temptation. You got to stay away from it. You're not going to beat biology. You have to avoid those situations. So if you're a guy that respects his woman and wants to stay in a committed relationship, stay away from situations that could be bad for you because over a period of time, you might engage in temptation. And as a woman, you have to understand that your man has flaws. He has problems. He's not going to be perfect. And that a real happy relationship is going to be boring. Guys, you got to understand that your girl might not look the best all the time. But if she's a good mother to your kids, she's a good partner to you, and she's loyal to you, that is so rare. Stop trying to go for all these women out there on the streets that look good. What looks good on the outside might be rotten on the inside. A lot of those girls that dress up and look nice and try to engage with you sexually typically have nothing carved out in their personality and they don't have any relationship with you, and they'll do you so dirty that you can't even imagine. And you'll regret leaving a good woman for the engagement of a woman that's not necessarily good for you, but more so promiscuous and there for your sexuality and for acquiring something from the interaction that you have. At the end of it all, guys, my point is very simple. Don't leave a relationship because it's boring. You got to have fun yourself. Don't leave your partner because they're not necessarily stimulating you. Yes, physical attraction has to be there. Yes, some kind of sexual chemistry should be there. There are certain requirements. And if you really want to know more about that stuff, you can definitely message me and I'll give you a whole laydown of what you should be looking at. And I'll give you a deep dive and a deep analysis on your relationship in itself. But a lot of people throw away a good relationship, a good man, a good woman, because they want to find something that's fun, all to realize that that fun is not very long-lived. That fun comes with a cost. That fun comes at a sacrifice of leaving something that was actually going to grow them as a person in a logical sense rather than an emotional sense. That being said, guys, you know where to find me with the links down below. Until next time, Sumi out.